Eric Bieniemy was very creative and there wasn't anything negative he had heard about him. If Bieniemy does get the job, he would be the first African-American head coach hired in this year's coaching cycle. So, Shannon, what should happen if EB doesn't get a job?
Nothing. Nothing should happen. Nothing can happen. Because at the end of the day, Skip, it's hard to tell a man that spent $1 billion, $2 billion, $3 billion on the team who he should hire. The NFL has tried to incentivize it with no impact whatsoever. They keep saying, and all the owners, all they do is just move the goal line every single time, and it gets further. At first, Skip, they said, you know what, we want an offensive guy. Positions come available, they hire a defensive guy. Well, we want a guy with previous head coaching experience. They go get a guy from college. Well, we want a guy that at least that have coached quarterbacks or, maybe have called plays a little bit. They go hire a tight end. Coach. You see what they do? And it seems to me, Skip, it's always, well, I hired the most qualified guy. It seems to me these owners, the most qualified guy is always white. The guy that's the best leader of the men, he was the best leader of men, seems to be always white. I'm like, wait a minute. So I just had a gut feeling. Your gut feeling always seems to be you hiring somebody that's white. Skip, I ain't got no problem with that. As I said before, I believe sincerely that Roger Goodell is doing everything he possibly can. But Roger Goodell works at the behest of those 32 wealthy white men. Now, unless we get some black ownership, Skip, an NFL team doesn't come up for sale very, very often. Normally when it happens, party passes away. Sometimes the family's like, okay, we want to keep it. Sometimes they sell. We saw the Carolina situation, and that came up for unexpected reasons. But $2.4 billion, and I think it was Tepper that snapped it up like that. There's not a whole, so we got to get, unless we get like black ownership, we get black people in position of, minorities in position of hiring, really nothing we can do, Skip. Nothing Roger Goodell can do. There's no incentive. They're going to hire who they want, and they're going to change the rules because, oh, we want a guy with previous experience. What they do? Matt Rule had no previous NFL experience. Urban Meyer, So, Skip, he had a terrible interview. I still don't want to, I want to know how a coach has a terrible interview. Tell you some of the people that he would like to hire on his staff. He tells you the type of offense he'd like to install, the type of defense he'd like to run, his approach, his philosophy. How you mess that up?
Shannon Sharp, something is very wrong here. It's heading in the wrong direction. I have this sinking feeling Eric Bieniemy is not going to get a job again. It's going in the wrong direction in college and pro football. We've just gone through this period of Black Lives Matter. We just celebrated Dr. King's birthday again. And here we are, worse than ever.
Yeah.
So, as you know, I've long been close to John Wooten. Once blocked for the great Jim Brown in Cleveland, ran the Dallas Cowboys as GM for a while, and Philly for a while.
He was with Ozzie in Baltimore.
He was, under Ozzie. And John has been the overseer, the head of the Fritz Pollard Alliance for many years. Now he's now the overseer of it, and Rod Graves has taken over recently as the new executive director. And I don't know if you saw the statement issued yesterday by Rod Graves, but it was powerful and it was very fair. And his point was in the statement that the pipeline of black coaching candidates is as strong as it has ever been.
Yes.
And I love this line. It is unfortunate that the performances of coordinators like Eric Bieniemy, Todd Bowles, Byron Leftwich, Leslie Frazier, and Joe Woods, don't sleep on him and the job he did in Cleveland this year with their defense, may not meet what appears to be the quote-unquote ever-evolving standards, whatever those are, ever-evolving standards for becoming a black head coach in the NFL. The prospect of second chances is proving to be even more elusive, right, for Todd Bowles. I think he obviously deserves another shot because white coaches have often gotten another shot.
Skip.
See Pete Carroll.
Skip, you remember Doug Marrone Doug Marrone resigned from the Buffalo Bills and went and got another head coaching job with Jacksonville.
He did.
Josh McDaniels. They was getting ready to have a press conference. He sends them an email or a fax, says, "Nah, I'm gonna stay." And he's in line to get another job.
Okay.
What black you think, Skip, can resign a job and ever work again?
Okay, I got it. So just for the record, Eric Bieniemy is now 51 years of age.
Yes.
So he's been second to jobs, third to jobs, second, third, second, third, and it just keeps going on. And now he's up in his 50s. What has been happening, what has driven my friend John Wooten the craziest of late is that so many white guys have gotten head coaching jobs in their 30s.
Yes!
I'm going to go down the list quickly.
Go ahead.
Sean McVay. Kevin Stefanski. Again, I'm not saying they didn't do well, but they got a shot, right? And they're in their 30s. Joe Judge was only 38 years of age when he got the job in New York.
He called plays?
No, he was a special teams coach.
Oh.
Zach Taylor in Cincinnati.
He called plays?
Mid-30s, no.
Quarterback coach.
Brandon Staley just got the job with the Chargers, and I still don't know how because he only 4 years ago was the defensive coordinator of John Carroll University.
Skip, I thought they wanted guys to call plays. Now, you just named Joe Judge, you named Matt Nagy, you named Doug Peterson. Skip, Zach Taylor was the quarterback coach.
He was.
Sean McVay called the plays. What about Pep Hamilton? Now, wasn't he the OC with Indy, with Andrew Luck?
He was.
His quarterback, Justin Herbert, just had the greatest rookie season for a quarterback in NFL history.
I don't hear his name.
I ain't heard the name mentioned.
Don't hear his name. And by the way, Brandon Staley is only 38 years of age, and suddenly he's the head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers. Then, again, a guy you came up with, Kyle Shanahan, got a job in his late 30s, but obviously he was decorated because his father was a great head coach. So I don't have any issues with it. I'm just saying Cliff Kingsbury in his late 30s got a head coaching job in the National Football League after a losing record as the head coach at Texas.
But at least Kyle was the OC in Houston. He was the OC in Washington. He was the OC in Cleveland. He was the OC in Atlanta before he got... These guys become OC in title only. Agreed. And then get a job without calling plays. But they say, well, EB don't call the plays. Well, hell, I just gave you a list of guys that didn't call plays. They weren't even, Skip, they weren't even on the offensive side. One guy got a head coaching job. He was the tight ends coach.
Right. I believe that Eric Bieniemy acts as the head coach more than any of these other white candidates have ever acted as the head coach because, by all accounts, Eric Bieniemy runs practices and he sits and watches, and obviously he loves his offensive input into the game plans, but Eric is acting as at least the associate head coach. That's who he is. What has always baffled me about the NFL system is that even when you're the coordinator, it has nothing to do with being a head coach. You have to do it on just faith. You know, you have to just sort of look in a guy's eye and say, I think he could be a leader of men. I think he could be the CEO of my franchise because unless you're Urban Meyer, having proven it at the college level at 4 different stops where you turn them around.
He's at least been a head coach. He might not have NFL coaching experience.
He has no NFL
but he's been a head coach.
And I respect and honor that.
Yes.
So I'm going to give him a shot, just the way Jimmy Johnson came in and just took over the Dallas Cowboys because he had been a head coach, obviously, at Oklahoma State and Miami.
I believe Urban Meyer is more than qualified. But you can't say, well, this is what I want. Well, I want a guy with NFL head coaching experience and then go hire somebody from college. And I'm saying, I don't have a problem. They always say I'm hiring the most qualified. It just appears to seem to my eye that always the most qualified is a white guy. That's what it appears to me. He's always white. That's always the most qualified.
Ditto. And again, when you're talking about the pipeline of coordinators, you can't know for sure because running a defense or an offense has nothing to do with running a football team, right?
You're responsible for the team, not just a unit, a phase of the team. You're responsible for the whole team.
Thing. Dealing with the media, dealing with the owner.
Yes.
Dealing with personal problems that your stars might have.
Yes.
It all falls on you. You have to be the CEO. And so it's hard to know. When you hire these young coaches, can they handle it? Well, a bunch of them, I can go down a litany of a lot of failures where you just swung and missed because, I didn't even mention Arthur Smith just got a job. He's 38 years of age, right? Atlanta.
Got a job.
Okay, here we go. So Rod Graves ended his statement yesterday, a resounding statement, with this paragraph, and I don't want to make too much of it because Rod Graves did not make too much of it. but he needed to mention, and I am all for, I applaud this, but he mentioned that it took fear of litigation to force the Rooney Rule into existence, which forced each team to at least interview one minority candidate. They'd like to have 2 now interviewed, but it just, even that is not working. So he just said that the reality of this is that maybe at some point down the road, it could take litigation, public trial in open court to make a real difference. Well, trust me, I know these people at the Fritz Pollard Alliance. They're a partner with the NFL. They don't want to go to court over this.
No.
It's the last thing they want to do.
No.
They want this to open up on its own.
Right.
They want owners to do the right thing.
And
they want Roger to be able to, he can't coerce owners to do it,
exactly.
but to continue to encourage, which he does.
Yes. Hey, Skip, it's hard to tell a man that spent $1 billion, $2 billion, $3 billion on the team who he should hire. The NFL has tried to incentivize it with no impact whatsoever. They keep saying, and all the owners, all they do is just move the goal line every single time, and it gets further. At first, Skip, they said, you know what, we want an offensive guy. Positions come available.